everyone. Welcome back to Love Letters to Broadway. This is episode 2, where we give you Broadway tips, tricks, advice, and share our adventures. My name is Skylar.
And I'm Michelle.
And so today we thought we'd go over something that people have been asking us to go over, right, Michelle?
Yeah, so we made a poll on our Instagram to see what you guys wanted to hear in an upcoming podcast. And the two top things that were voted on were theater etiquette and stage door etiquette. And obviously, it's something in the industry that's also been causing a lot of controversy recently. There's been a lot going on. And we
Yep.
thought, you know what? What better way to do our second podcast than to address this right off the bat?
Yeah, let's get right into it, right? But before that, we thought we'd do like a fun little game every week where we kind of tell you what our hyper fixations are when it comes to songs and like what we've been listening to over and over and over again. Um,
Yeah, and
so
who
Michelle, do you
knows?
want to?
Yeah, I mean, like, also, who knows? Maybe some of these songs you guys haven't heard of and you guys will want to listen to.
True, although I feel like I'm pretty basic this week, and probably everybody can figure out what I've been listening to, but
Well, let's just go for it. Let's see what
all
happens.
right, Michelle, you want to go first? What's your
Okay.
number? Wait, should we go from number 3 to 1, or should we do 1, 2, and 3?
Hmm. That is a tough one.
It's like a countdown.
Like a countdown to our top song. I guess we could do it like a countdown. I will preface by saying that some of my choices are a little embarrassing,
I
and I hope no one out there will judge me for them.
don't think so. We'll see
So
though.
we'll see what
Maybe I
happens.
will.
So, my number three top song of the week is Thriller from MJ the Musical.
Okay.
So, Skylar and I saw that a few weeks ago, and I loved it. The guy we saw playing MJ was actually an understudy. Literally,
Which I can't believe that.
I couldn't believe he was the understudy, but also I really thought he was MJ.
Oh,
Like
110. I went
it
home and I was like, I think I just saw Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it really felt like that. Like his moves were so smooth, his voice was stunning.
Oh yeah.
And obviously he's not on the recording, but it really made me like develop a new appreciation for the music. So I've been listening to it a lot. And Thriller in particular, I thought was like literally the best number in the show.
Oh yeah.
It was
It
a
was
jaw-dropping
beautifully done.
number. Okay, so that's number three.
Number
Number
2.
two is a little embarrassing.
Oh, really?
It is not a Broadway song, but it is sung by a Broadway actor.
There you go.
So number two is
Oh
Mount
no.
Outrageous from Trolls 3.
Oh, I'm dead.
Um,
Wait, Trolls is
song.
iconic.
Okay, I've over the last like couple months have developed a really deep love for Trolls.
Wait,
I've
you know what song I like?
which
The
one?
Anna Kendrick thing that is like Get Back Up Again.
Yes, I
Hey,
love that
not
one.
gonna be
I'm
the
in my way.
guy.
Oh, I love that one. But yeah, so I've developed a really deep love for trolls.
See, the
I've
ex preschool teacher in me is like, good
well,
job.
oh my God, you probably were listening to it all the time.
Nonstop. But I put
But
it on for myself sometimes.
well,
Because I was
because
like,
it's good music. I
yeah,
okay, so I watched obviously all three movies multiple times. I watched the full Netflix television show a couple
there's a
times.
show. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it has like 8 seasons, or something like five or eight, five, six, whatever. It's like a lot of seasons. I've watched the whole thing. And there also is a Hulu show, which is a continuation. I've watched all of
We're not
that.
approaching our 30s and talking about trolls.
Listen, I still have a few good years, and you do
I
too.
know.
We're not that close to
I'm
our
messing
30s.
with
Don't
you. We're
don't
not that close to 30,
yeah,
even though
don't.
it feels like it sometimes.
It feels like it, but we're not there yet.
We're
We
not.
we've
I'm
got quite
just,
a bit of time.
yeah,
Don't rush my life.
I'm just messing with you.
But so yeah, it's Mount Rageous, which
I gotta
actually
listen to that.
it's so good, and I don't know if you know this, but the person who plays a veneer
I don't
in
know.
Trolls is Andrew Reynolds, and he
Oh,
sings this. He's one of the singers on it.
oh.
He's so good,
I mean, when is he
so
not?
good. Um, Okay, so that's number two. And then number one
Here we go. Drum
is
roll.
Justice for Tulsa from The
Oh, iconic.
Outsiders. That's
And throwback to my story last podcast. If you know, you know.
Oh, if you know, you know. You got to go back to episode one to hear it. But
Exactly.
Justice for Tulsa, like the very beginning of it in particular, the way Kevin William Paul sings that, just
Obsessed.
like it's my favorite moment in the whole show. And I was
Obsessed.
talking about that earlier today. I saw a TikTok earlier where someone was like, comment your favorite Outsiders moment. And I actually put the very beginning of Justice for Tulsa in the comments.
That's a good one. I
Yeah,
like
because
when they had the flashlight.
yes, that's exactly what I commented. It was the flashlights and
Yeah.
Justice for Tulsa.
I was
So
wishing they put it on our face. I was like, please scan this way.
I
I don't
know,
know.
I know. It was close to us, but we were in like the front row in like the corner. So I think it just kind of missed us.
Yeah.
It was more in like the center. But actually, when I saw the show, the very first time I saw it, I sat in the mezzanine and it did shoot me in the eye and I
Yeah.
felt a little blinded by the light. I'm not gonna lie.
And spotlight's on you. That's
Yeah.
a good question. Like what your favorite part of The Outsiders was.
What's your favorite?
I don't know. I gotta think about that.
Hmm.
Like,
There's so much that's really good about it. Like at first I was thinking like, do I say the Rumble and stuff? But I feel like everyone says the Rumble. Like I wanted,
yeah, I mean that will not be so cool to see.
you know
Like
what
you really feel like they're punching each other.
exactly.
Like there's no
Like
way they're not punching each other. Like
I
what?
they have to like give a little slap or a punch by accident one or two times. Like come on. But you know what? Actually, I think your favorite part, which you've told me before, is Great Expectations.
Oh, you know what it is? Thank you very much. Far away from Tulsa when Ponyboy goes into that where it goes
Mm.
dun, 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 and then everybody comes out.
Hmm.
Chills.
Yeah.
That's good job. Thank you for reminding me because I
You're
forgot.
welcome. We've discussed this before during our car rides.
Well, yeah, because I remember last week I just kept replaying that part over and over again.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about
I could not
that.
stop. Brody's voice.
Iconic.
Oh,
We still,
beautiful.
neither of us have seen Brody in the role. We every time I've gone twice. Skylar went once, and I saw Trevor both times, and Skylar also saw Trevor. We were together.
Yeah, and we saw Josh too
We
as
saw Josh
Johnny.
as Johnny. Yeah,
Yeah. Not they're amazing. Like Trevor and Josh are
incredible,
amazing. But I do want to
incredible.
see Brody.
I
Just
do.
once.
Yeah, I feel like I want to see his take on the role.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
Yeah,
Very curious. Because I feel like I don't know, I feel like Trevor and him have two different ways of viewing Ponyboy. And that would be really cool
yeah.
to see.
Yeah, I
Um
100% agree. Well, I guess that kind of takes us into because you were talking about music into your list.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are your
Sorry.
top three songs starting with number three?
Okay, so which is your top one is my number three. So
Really?
my
Justice for
number three is
Tulsa?
Justice for Tulsa. I've been jamming to that every time I drive to work. Um, I don't know. I just love pretending to be Jerry. I won't stop, and I should stop because people around me are probably like, "Is that girl okay?" As I'm going into my performance. But
There's nothing wrong with a car performance. Like, you know what? If they want to
exactly.
watch me sing on the top of my lungs, like, enjoy the show.
I mean, they could throw a dollar, maybe. I'll open my window. Give me some money.
Throw a dollar, hit you in the face.
Yeah, right? Um, but yeah, like you said, it's iconic. Like the start of it and hearing his voice, I don't know. It
Mhm.
just like brings me back to the show.
I also think it's really
Um,
cool that they have Bob playing the cop. Like it's
yeah,
just like
it's
I'm
a
happy
fun.
that they found a way to bring him back into the show in Act Two. Otherwise, like, what is he gonna do?
Yeah, right?
Like
I
I was thinking
mean,
about that the other day. Like he's really not in Act Two besides playing the cop, and then he's like in the Rumble, which we noticed last time.
yeah. But I feel like most of the socials aren't in the show as much. Like Cherry
Well,
really isn't
yeah.
that much in it.
Yeah, she's really not. I thought she would be in it more than she was. But
Well,
this,
it's
listen,
like
this
the
is
book
not.
though. Sorry.
Well, yeah. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, it's fine. This is not our Outsiders podcast. We are going to do an Outsiders podcast.
I know we can't control
So,
ourselves.
yeah, we can't
Um,
stop it. But everyone, stay tuned for the Outsiders podcast. That is coming up probably pretty soon.
yeah. My number two is If It's True from Hadestown. I
Ooh.
absolutely love this song, but I love Reeve. He's great, but I want Jordan Fisher's version
Yeah,
so
I
badly.
wish they would release a second soundtrack version with his voice. They both have such different takes on the role.
Yeah, and I whenever we see it live, like I think I was hitting you during this when we saw Jordan Fisher because I love this song
You were like, you need to listen to the song very carefully, and the way he sings it.
because like he goes from like he lost all hope to like getting like a rally around him,
Mm.
which whatever, I won't spoil Hades Town, but um really it's like one of my favorites, which is kind of like an odd if you're listening to Hades Town, like an odd favorite choice. A lot of people say like Wait for Me or like Flowers or
Yeah, but
but
that's
I
so
love that one.
basic. You gotta be a little unique.
Yeah, I love that one. And then my number one is Throwing in the Towel. I
It's
don't
so
know if it's just I'm
good.
depressed or what I'm doing to myself, but like I feel so many emotions when I listen to that song.
Throwing in the towel is so good.
Oh,
Jason
it's like
Schmidt's voice
the
gets
most,
me every single time.
and it's the lyrics to it. They did such a great job on capturing Daryl and Soda Pop and Daryl's like complete, utter, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Not depression, but like sadness, I guess,
Hmm.
of what has happened and how he thinks he failed
He
Pony
like
Boy.
he really is like you kind of see how broken he is inside. I think you see it
Yeah.
for all of them a little bit during that
Yeah,
song.
even Soda. Um, where he's like, um, where Soda Pop realizes he can't do what Daryl does. If
Yeah.
he had to do all that, they would have fallen apart.
It would have fallen
Um,
apart. It's
and
so
it's
beautifully written, and like I feel like, whenever I hear it, it makes me think of my relationship with my sibling and like,
oh yeah, where you do absolutely anything. And we've talked about this um in our car rides, but you do
yeah.
absolutely anything for your family. And that's kind of what I love, the overarching theme of The Outsiders, of the book and the musical.
Hmm.
Um, where when you're backed into that corner, you'll do anything for your family.
Hmm. Very
Um,
true. Very
but
true.
yeah, so that's my top three of this, I guess the day, not the week, the day.
Well, the day in this case, but next week it'll be the week
Yeah, I wonder
for
if it'll
next week's
change.
podcast.
So we'll see if it changes.
I feel like my top songs change almost every day based on my mood.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna adjust. I think there'll be some changes.
Well, because this morning driving in to work, I listened to from the Gary Gatsby, The Past Is Catching Up to Me, probably like three times. I was
Hmm.
like, dang, Jordan, I almost said Jordan Fisher. Jeremy
Jeremy
Jordan,
Jordan.
sorry. I was like, dang, his voice is kind of everything.
Oh my God, when we saw Gatsby, The Great Gatsby, we saw it a few days ago. I could not handle myself when he was singing his solo. Like I
No,
literally
it was
started
amazing.
crying.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And we'll
his
talk about
voice.
that.
I started getting throwbacks to Santa Fe and I just lost it.
I mean, he just sings so effortlessly. That was a hard word for me.
That was
Sorry.
a struggle.
That was a struggle. You probably
Effortless.
worked all
Wait, wait,
day.
wait, wait. Can I say it? Effortlessly?
You said it way better than I did. I had to
Wait,
break it
wait,
down into
wait,
syllables.
wait. Did I say it effortlessly?
Oh, iconic.
Oh, look what I did
Iconic.
there. Look what I did
Yeah,
there.
I had to break it down. So that's how my brain functions. But okay, so that's our top three songs.
So I guess moving on to the reason that we are all here today, the big discussion on theater
Dun dun
etiquette.
dun.
Dun dun dun. The big discussion.
It's
Discussion,
been
discussion, discussion,
all
discussion.
over
Everyone is
TikTok,
talking about it.
Instagram. I mean, it's been all over the place. Not only like just stage door, but like the theater etiquette too. And we've seen it firsthand many times.
Theater etiquette has dropped over the last few years. And
Drastically.
I actually feel like a big reason it's dropped is from COVID. I think
Yeah,
audiences did not come back the same way.
yeah.
I
And
think
I would
people,
say
yeah,
that the theaters aren't doing a great job in um monitoring and like um putting out messages on what's right and what's wrong.
very true. Like I have next to me from one of the shows that Skylar and I went to recently, a playbill. And a lot of the theaters now, they're not even making announcements anymore, like please turn off phones, please no recording and videos. Literally in the playbill, there is just a short little letter from the
Yeah.
president of Playbill saying like, so to help you and the people around you have the best time, we ask that you, and there's a bullet point list of what you should do.
And let's be
And
honest, people are not reading it. Like
yeah,
we see people folding up their playbills on the street or like leaving them, like
or throwing
they're
them
not
out.
opening it.
I mean, to be fair, people do still read the playbill, and I think its playbills are important. But I think this
No, I'm
is
not saying
not.
they're not
No,
important. I
yeah, yeah,
was
no, I
just
know what you're
saying like,
saying. I just feel like this is not the place to put in this letter.
yeah, they gotta say it.
It has to be said out loud. And also, to be fair, it's written in English. And,
Yeah,
a lot of times nowadays, people going to Broadway shows are tourists. They may not
yeah,
read English.
yeah.
And I do think a lot of times the theater etiquette issues, unfortunately, could be some people who are tourists who may not know better. But
Hmm.
even just like people who are from around here, like I just feel like it has gone down.
Oh,
Um,
drastically.
like, so for example, to talk a little bit about some of our experiences that we've had recently encountering theater etiquette issues. When we went to Back to the Future,
Yeah.
we had it was almost like oh my God, what's the word? Like
It felt like
sensory
we
overload. It so on the right of us, we had a family of tourists, which is fine, but the kid was talking the entire show very
he didn't want to
loudly.
be there.
He didn't want to be there. He was also, I think, too young, to be honest. Maybe he
Yeah.
was like 3. And no ushers said anything, but it happens. It's a kid. We understand. Then there was a child who definitely was older, maybe 12, 13, I
Oh yeah.
think, on the left side of Skylar, who full on took his shoes off during the show. And
Yeah.
his feet, when I tell you, they smelled so bad that we could not breathe while we were sitting there. And embarrassingly enough, it's true. And then in front of us, we had a family. It was 2 parents and their young child. Again, it was a little girl, and maybe she was,
I would say
it was,
7, maybe.
you think 7? I thought younger, but
Oh, really?
I thought a little younger. But she was so not into the show that they actually pulled out the tablet and let
Yep.
her sit and play on the tablet during the show with the full brightness on the entire time.
Yeah, we saw it like 2 rows back, which is kind of impressive, I guess.
And I don't understand how the ushers did not say anything.
Well, my major problem is like you can bring your kids to a show, like that's great. Like I would love to do that.
Yeah,
But
same.
have a conversation with them before you go to a Broadway show. Like I remember when I was young, I was going to see Beauty and the Beast. And I asked my mom, I was like, how did we behave? And she said, you guys were great because we talked about it. She showed us videos on YouTube of like Broadway and what it was, and explained that you have to sit there quietly and that if you need something, you could tap me and whisper in the ear, but like really you
Yeah.
should be sitting and paying attention. Um,
It should be used as a learning opportunity.
yeah, it takes like 10 seconds to explain that. And like even as I was in like middle school, or maybe I was in elementary, no, definitely middle school. I got my first cell phone, and my grandma took me to a show, and she actually took my phone away
Oh,
and shut it
wow.
off. Which like you should know not to, but at the same time, it's showing me, and I guess that's why I don't use my phone ever during a show because I would associated that where I'm like, oh, well, they took my phone away, so like I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
I was always taught as soon as you sit down, you turn the phone off. You text
yeah,
whoever you need to text, they might turn my phone off. If you need me, I'll reach out during intermission and you shut the phone down. Like sometimes I
yeah.
sit there for 15, 20 minutes before a show with my phone off just because I know that's not what the theater is for.
No,
Uh,
you're supposed to be there to absorb it and live in the moment.
yeah,
And how are
and
you focusing on the show if you're too busy trying to record it or
exactly. We've like had so many experiences the past few times where we've gone where there are people around us who throughout the show they are texting on their phones, they are
yeah,
checking emails. I literally saw
shopping,
shopping during Hadestown. I saw the lady next to me doing that.
which I
And
can't even imagine.
and it's on full brightness.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how the ushers like at these theaters where these situations are happening, where it's happening, like how are they not saying anything? Like
Yeah,
even
like
when we saw Anne Juliet last year. There
mhm.
were people in front of us recording the entire
I
show.
told the ushers, remember? I got up and
Yeah,
I told the ushers and I actually pointed out the person and they didn't do anything. And they just
yeah,
kept recording. Like not even just like recording sneakingly, but like full on where their hands were like up in the air recording.
yeah. And I mean, and listen, let's be honest. We're theater fans. We all love a good bootleg.
Yeah, a
I think
slime tutorial.
everyone loves the slime tutorials. Everyone loves a good bootleg. Everyone loves a little audio. But at the same time, is it the right thing to do? No.
That's the major issue. It's like, yeah, we love when we hear it like all like next to normal. Like I didn't see it on Broadway, but I watched the slime tutorial.
Yeah,
But it's like, is it the right thing? Absolutely not.
it's
And
absolutely
that's where
not.
it's so hard.
And it's not even, I feel like a lot of these people who are recording, they're not even recording for those purposes anymore. I think a lot of these
No.
people just don't know that you don't do that at a Broadway show.
I think some of them know because I went to Hadestown with my sister and there was a girl in front of us. And also like the stress it has to take to be recording because she was trying to record Jordan Fisher, which all right, whatever. And she kept having to look to where the ushers were. So not only are you not paying attention to the show, but now you are anxious about, oh, the ushers are coming. Oh, I gotta put away this, and you're trying to record while they're not looking. And it was like several times the ushers flashed the flashlight at her
Hmm.
to the point where me and my sister were so done that we were like, we told her, we're like, put your phone away. I was like, you're
It's,
disrupting the show now because now the flashlight is in my face and I'm not doing anything wrong.
oh
All I'm doing is trying to
wow.
absorb the music and the story. I'm like, I'm trying to pay attention. You're ruining it for me.
It's disrespectful to the actors. It's
Yeah.
disrespectful to the people sitting around you.
It's so selfish
It's
at the
selfish.
end of
It's
the day.
conceited and it's selfish at the end of the day. Um,
Because really, like, it took us out of it for a solid, like, 10 minutes while she was doing it because
yeah.
the ushers are flashing their lights. But at that point, I feel like the ushers should kick them out. And I
I
know
mean
that's
I agree
terrible.
too. No, I agree. There okay, the other day when we went to the Great Gatsby, there was a huge situation in the audience.
Oh, yeah, we
Now
were
at
nosy.
now I want to preface it by saying the ushers there were fantastic, but
Oh,
their
yeah, they were on top of it.
announcement about phones and cell phones made zero sense. They literally, the show like started, instead of doing an announcement like please turn off all phones, they literally just made a bunch of loud cell phone ringing
That was
noises,
weird.
like to kind of remind you, like, hey, cell phone, but they never said turn your phones off. It was just like
Yeah.
everyone was looking around like, what is this?
And then the show started. I was like, wait, what? That was the announcement? I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
But I will say the ushers there were fantastic, which leads us to what happened.
Yeah.
So we were watching the first act, and we keep seeing the ushers running down the aisle to like
Like,
center
nonstop.
orchestra nonstop, three, four times or more. And they keep flashing their lights at these people, flashing their lights. And then when intermission started, all of a sudden you see the head usher like run down the aisle.
And you see me lifting out of my chair to be so nosy.
Well, no, not even just you. It was like everyone sitting around them. Like everyone like stopped in their tracks. Like everyone forgot about going to the bathroom or buying
Yeah.
snacks. Everyone was watching. And you saw this head usher start yelling at them like to these three girls, get up and like come over to me. And he was yelling at them about recording. And they were trying to blame someone else, saying, "Oh, this guy was recording." It was a whole drama thing. But I was so happy that this guy really tried to do the right thing and stop them from recording. They were doing it the whole first act.
Yeah. No, definitely, because again, then you're being so disrespectful to the people around you.
It's so disrespectful. And they also were like front row center. So I
Yeah.
am sure the actor saw it. And you know what? You never know when something like that could kick an actor off and like they could like lose where they're at in the show or mess up a line or two. Like
Yeah. You're
I feel
right.
like I would get triggered if I saw something like that.
I'd be so pissed off.
I mean, you've seen that, I'm sure you've seen that viral video of Patti LuPone when she's like singing in company and she looks directly at the camera, like stares them dead on in the eye. It's
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah, literally.
Um, So yeah, we had that issue happen. We had the feet. Oh, we need to tell them what happened at the Wiz.
Oh yeah. The
You want to tell
Wiz.
it or you want me to tell it?
I could tell it. It was towards the end of the show, and we hear like a kid almost crying behind us, I would say.
Yeah.
Like whining.
And she kept saying, "I need to pee. I need to
Yeah.
pee."
She kept telling her mom that she needed to pee because they went and got some drinks during intermission. And she kept saying it, but the mom's like, no, just wait, just wait. There was like at least 10 more minutes left of the show, I would say, because then they had to
Mhm.
do the bows. The mom literally made her wait until the bows were over to go to the bathroom, and she was like full on crying at that
She was
point.
actually like almost having a like not even a tantrum. I don't want to use that word because she was in pain. You could tell it. She was screaming and crying
Yeah,
like, "I
she's
need to pee." Like it kept getting louder. We turned around and we saw the tears flowing out of her eyes. Like she really needed to go. And I'll never forget. Like Skylar turned to me. Skylar used to be a preschool teacher, and she was
yeah,
like, "When a kid reaches that extreme level, like."
she couldn't pee her pants.
Yeah, like it's gonna be an accident. And the mom literally, she's sitting there, they're doing the whole dance, she's ready to cry, and she doesn't take her to the bathroom, even during the bows. Like when the bows started, take her to the restroom.
Yeah, and
Like
then she 100% had to wait on a long line to go to the bathroom.
I
Because
felt
at
so
that point,
bad for the
everybody's going.
child. It actually felt
It
a
was,
little abusive to me. I felt really bad for the child.
yeah, it was terrible. It's like, I feel like a lot of these like theater etiquette examples are people just being extremely selfish.
Well, yeah,
And
like the
like,
mom was being selfish for doing that to her child, one, but also she
yeah,
didn't care that the child was literally repeatedly screaming in the audience, "I need to pee," during the last 10 minutes of the show, and everyone around
yeah.
it was being interrupted.
And the same thing, remember at the Wiz, the guy in front of us was like on the dog walker app.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? He was looking,
No.
the usher was like shining a light on him. He was like right in front of us. He was looking on like a dog walker app or something,
Yeah.
and just felt like he could check his phone during the show.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
I
I
feel
just feel
like
like, yeah.
as nothing in my life was that important during a Broadway show that I needed to look. Like
Yeah,
honest
and
to God, I don't think I ever was like, oh, I need to look at my phone like halfway through the show.
yeah, I mean, and obviously we understand family emergencies happen. Like sometimes things could happen where you need to check your phone. But you could get up, you could walk out the aisle, you could go into the lobby. There are
Yeah.
options. Or
Yeah,
like
but nobody does it.
or you don't need to even do it on full brightness. But the one that got me the most honestly was the kid on the tablet. I have never
Yeah.
seen something like that before during the show, and I just like could not get over it. And then also another situation, if you listen to our first podcast, you heard us talk about it, what happened to us at Cabaret,
Yeah.
where we had a girl in front of us who got really drunk and she was elbowing us and she was putting her hair on Skylar's lap. If you want to hear this full story, you could listen to the first podcast, but
Yeah, that was interesting.
it's happening more and more
I
and
feel like
it's scary.
everyone's lost the idea of Broadway, where it's like it's amazing. Like it's something you can't witness anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, so you want to be in that room. You want to be completely captured by it, paying attention. You want to feel that. I feel like everybody, not everybody, I feel like some people have lost that idea of Broadway.
No, I agree. I feel like it's not, I feel like Broadway used to be on a pedestal, like it's
Yeah,
Broadway. And I
where
feel
there's like
like
high
people don't,
expectations.
yeah, like I feel like people don't respect it as much anymore. Like
I mean,
people,
it's also like, this might sound weird, but like we like to get dressed up
yeah,
because we're
we're
like, it's a
always
night
in
out.
dresses or a nice romper or a nice outfit, nice blouse with, pants. Like, and there
There's
are
people
people
with
going in
baseball caps.
baseball caps, tank tops, crop tops, and like shore shorts. And, I get it, maybe that's all people have or whatever, things happen, but it just, I don't know. I feel like some of the class of Broadway has disappeared.
I don't know. I think like we forget that it's like so something you can't witness anywhere else. And it's losing that wow factor for people.
Yeah,
I feel like some people, whether it be tourists or whatever, they're going just to go and they don't really care about it.
I
And maybe
agree.
that's part of my issue is like I get so excited. Like my sister, we saw Hadestown together and she was telling my mom how we got margaritas.
Hmm.
And every time a song ended, I put it down and I clapped with my hands all the way up and was like so enthusiastic. Because she was like, I finished the margarita before her because every song she had to woo.
But
Because
it's respectful for the actors. It's
I
like,
was so captivated by it. Like I was like in it, I felt like.
yeah, but also like it makes the actors feel good and reminds them that the audience is like there and like I used to perform and whenever I got a good applause, like it made me feel so much better and it made me feel like I did the show better
Well,
because
and then they
it
want to
like
do more. Like if
yeah
you saw Jordan Fisher's TikTok, where he's like to the audience that were like
oh yeah, the August
screaming,
17th audience,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm singing for you. This is why I do it. And it's like exactly like give if you put your phone away, if you really pay attention and
Hmm.
you in the moment of it, you will feel all the emotions that the actors are putting out there. And that's what I find so cool.
What are your thoughts on people recording vows recently? Because
I
that's
don't
been
like it.
happening more and more.
I don't like it. Honestly, we've never done it. We've never even thought to do it. And we put TikTok videos up and stuff.
The only time I've done it was during the closing of Tommy because I was like, this is something
That makes sense.
I really wanted to like remember, like being at the closing of a show and
Yeah.
everyone was doing it because it's like the final bows, like, and I think they
Yeah.
wanted people to do it. Like people were recording
No,
the speech.
definitely.
Like I think it was a different scenario, but people are now doing it at every bows that we go
Every
to.
show we go to, I don't like it. Again, like I feel like it takes us out of it a little bit. Um,
Yeah, like
so
it takes me out of it. And also, to be fair, I'm very short. I'm only
yeah,
5'2", and when people are holding up their phones like that, like I can't even see the bows most of the time, and it's
yeah.
also upsetting for me.
So Michelle, what do you think some solutions can be in regards to theater etiquette?
Well, I think
I know, loaded
one,
question.
it's a very loaded question, thank you, but I think one solution is I think the theaters need to bring back the pre-show announcement.
Yeah.
What show did we go to recently where they did do it? Was it Suffs? There was one show where we were really impressed.
Oh shoot, what was it? Maybe it was Softs.
And or was it Once Upon a Mattress?
Yes. I think it was Once Upon a Mattress.
Yeah, where they made like the full-on announcement. We were really impressed. And also the ushers were great at stopping people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it was Once Upon a Mattress.
I feel like they need to go back to the olden days.
Yeah, make
Like
the
there always
announcements.
was.
Ushers, I don't want to blame the ushers because, they're probably just doing what they're told, but I also
Yeah.
feel like they need to be more on it and not let things slide.
I feel like there needs to be like a written rule. Like if the ushers come to you twice,
You have to
like
be kicked
somewhere so
out.
that people can't get like mad. Like, well, it's a rule in all theaters on Broadway. If
Yeah.
we come to you twice and tell you verbally to put it away, then we can kick you out.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I think the people at Hadestown the other day, not Hadestown, The Great Gatsby should have been kicked out.
Yeah, they were about to.
Yeah, I
They were
think they
about
should have.
to.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like the solutions are make the announcement. I think there
Hmm.
needs to be a rule, like you said. I think the ushers need to be more on top of it. But also, and I don't want to blame parents, but I think it's also, I think people need to like know when their kids are ready to go and sit through a show. Like obviously the
Yeah.
girl who couldn't sit through Back to the Future was not ready to go see a
Or
Broadway show.
research the show before you take them. There's
That's
plenty of kids shows you can take them to.
There are shows that we've gone to that I see parents bring their children, like young kids, and I'm
I
like,
wouldn't take a
I don't
young
think
kid
this
to
is appropriate
Hadestown.
then.
I
No.
wouldn't.
There was a
Even Back
very
to the
young,
Future is iffy.
yeah, Back to the Future could be. I mean, if you think about the real concept with the mom and the son and the
Yeah.
romance, but like in Hadestown, there was a very young girl sitting behind us. What was she, maybe 6, 7? And she was taking our chairs the whole time.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And like was like swinging on the like banister when we
Yeah,
were
she was
leaving.
bored. She was bored. The show was
Yeah, it's
not
not for
made for
kids.
a 6 or 7 year old, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean, if any of you out
Same
there
with
like
Lion
disagree
King.
with us, like I would love to hear it. Like I would love
Yeah.
to hear your thoughts, your opinions, any stories that like you guys have. But like, I don't know. I don't feel like a 6 or 7 year old should be going to Hades Town.
No, there's Lion King, there's Aladdin.
Once
What
Upon a
else?
Mattress, I think could be great for a younger kid. It's like a fairy tale.
Because there's that whole song about sex.
Oh well, there. Yeah. Oh, that is
The
true.
birds and the bees, and he like acts it out.
Yeah, but there were kids in the audience, and I don't even think they picked up on it at that
They might
age.
not. But
But
I would take them to Lion King, Aladdin, and there's always like Paw Patrol Live. Like,
yeah, I mean, The Wiz just closed, but Wiz would have been great.
oh yeah, that was incredible.
Um,
Um,
so I guess then moving on from theater etiquette,
dun
which I
dun.
feel like we truthfully could talk about for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm sure it will come up again.
Yeah,
I think we have to address the big controversies of today, which are the stage doors.
yeah, it's been a major issue.
It's been a major issue. I think anyone listening to this podcast knows that there's one show in particular where it's been a really big issue recently, which is The Outsiders. It's the hottest
Yeah,
show on Broadway. Girls are obsessed with it. Guys are obsessed with it. And I will say firsthand, that stage door is scary to go stand at.
yeah. I think before we get into that, because we're gonna talk about that forever. I just want to talk about quickly my stage door with Hades Town.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
When I went with my sister, because we didn't stage door when we saw it. Um, so when I went with my sister, it was a Friday night, and we were lucky. Our seats were right by the door. So
Hmm.
after the bows, we went straight out and we got like a great spot. We are like, oh, why not? Let's stage door. Let's see. When I tell you, the people were insane. So we were the front of the barricade, and the people behind us, they just kept forming and forming. Um, I get very anxious, understandably. But my sister was the brave one in the situation.
Hmm.
Um, People just kept pushing, pushing. At one point, this girl had my hair because I had my hair down.
Yeah.
She was pulling it and she didn't even realize that my hair was under her arm
Oh my
because
God.
she was that close to me. So I turned around like, you have my hair under your arm and you're pulling it. And she goes, oh.
She
And I
didn't
was
even
like,
apologize?
no. And I was like, you could have said sorry. where like I didn't realize. And I was like, you just pulled my hair.
Yeah, I mean, accidents happen, but that reaction makes it seem like she knew and just didn't care.
Yeah, because she was also pushing me the whole time. Um, so the only person that came out was the guy who plays Hades. He was an understudy. He was great.
Why didn't
And
anyone
they
else come out?
and it's because they were crazy. Everybody was
Really?
pushing, everybody was screaming. There was people singing loudly, I guess, to get Jordan Fisher or Maya out. They thought that that would work, but they just made it such like a hostile environment that the actors didn't want to come out. Um, we were getting like pushed nonstop. And like I had
Oh
a
my
tote bag, my
God.
tote bag was getting, and at that point you're kind of stuck. So we were kind of stuck in the front with like a mass behind us. I was like,
Oh
I
my
don't even know if
God.
we can get out of this. And I was like,
I
I've
would have
never
gotten so
experienced that.
claustrophobic.
But like before, like years ago, like I used to do the Les Mis stage door. Never ever did I ever feel like that.
Yeah.
Or like when we did a Bronx Tale, like it wasn't
It was
crazy.
easy. I used to stage door
Everyone was
Newsies all the
respectful.
time. Newsies,
Yeah,
like, I think Newsies is very similar fandom wise in some ways,
yeah,
like to the Outsiders hype, like when the show like first came out. It's similar in that way, but I think the fans, have differences and stuff. But
yeah,
that stage door was so like everyone was respectful, everyone was trying to help each other take their pictures and get their autographs and like it to me, at least as a fan, I never felt overwhelmed or like I was gonna pass out or anything while seeing it.
yeah. So I guess let's move on
Well,
to,
well, actually, I think even before we go into Outsiders, we also just talk about what happened to us at Tommy.
oh yeah. So the closing night of well, day of Who's Tommy, we went to the stage door because we got like the whole cast signature. It was really cool. Um, and where did it even start? Was it the person with the poster?
Yeah, there was a guy behind me, and like I said earlier, I'm only 5'2". Like, I don't know why, if it's just me, but I just feel like the world is getting taller, and everywhere when I'm in a crowd recently at like a
Yeah,
stage door, I feel like I'm being trampled. And this guy was tall and was behind me, and it was almost as if he like didn't see I was there. But anytime
yeah,
an actor moved up and like came up to like us and I'm trying to like sneak my arm in to get our signatures, he would take his poster and like fling it at them. And it actually hit me and scratched my eye like a couple times. Like it kept going in my eye.
yeah,
And I kept turning around at him and he just did not care. And actually there was another guy there who was standing in front of us. We were like maybe like the second row closer to like
yeah.
the stage door and he was like he saw what was happening and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna help you guys." And now we've become friends with him. But like he was like, "I'm gonna grab the poster from him so
Well,
he can't
because
fling it open
I
and hit you in the face anymore and
didn't
hit you
I
in the
say
head."
something really loudly?
Yeah, he heard us talking about it because look, I got hurt, it scratched my eye.
Well, because I looked at him and said, "We're not gonna do this," or I said
You
something.
said something,
I
but
don't
like
remember
you said
because it was
something.
hitting me too. It was hitting me in the head, and I was like, "I'm gonna
Well, at
like,
one point, he almost like actually hit me in the head.
yeah,
But there was that. There was also an older couple standing in front of us that I don't know. They'd like, I don't know. Whenever we're at a stage door, and if we see someone who's younger around us, like if we see a kid standing next to us, we always try to make sure that kid can get near the front and get their
yeah,
signature. And make sure like, or even like try to like point to the Broadway like performer, like, hey, look down here. And we try to
yeah,
help them out when there's like a kid around. And obviously we're not children, but this couple was much older. They had to have been in like their 70s or something, or late
yeah."
60s.
They kept asking
And
who was who
yeah,
that was coming out.
they had no idea who was who. You could tell they were only really there because they knew the playbills are probably going to be worth money one day.
Yeah,
And like we a few times were trying to get through to get our signature and they just would not make room for us whatsoever. They kept giving us kind of like dirty looks and we really were trying to be very polite about it. And again, like our new friend that we had made, like he was trying to help us get our signatures because he
well,
saw
because
that they weren't helping. But
yeah,
also we tried to get a photo with one
hmm
of the actors. Actually, two of the actors we tried to get pictures with, and both times the couple would not even budge an inch for
I
us
know
to kind
my
of scoot
head
near
was
them.
just floating in.
Yeah, they refused to even make room for us to take a picture or anything. It just like I don't know. It just felt so like it almost felt like an FU. Like we did we do something wrong? Like it just was like I feel like we're all at the shows because we're all fans and it should be like a camaraderie kind of thing. And it's just like try to work with one another. We all want to get a signature. We all want to get a picture.
It's almost like jealousy, almost. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like they don't want other people to have their moment or
Yeah.
something. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Um,
And also like to be fair, like they were like a couple, right? And they were in the front
yeah,
row of the for getting signatures. If I was this older man in particular, he especially wouldn't let us through. If I saw two younger girls in their like, mid-20s or whatever, trying to get a signature or something, and he was with his wife and she's trying to get a signature, I would have even maybe just like stood a little bit behind her. His wife was very short. You would
yeah,
still get the same interaction. You're with your couple, but you've just made even another 6 inches of room for us to be able to stick our arm through.
yeah. I didn't even stick my arm. You did both of
You
them because
you
I
couldn't.
couldn't.
You couldn't get near it. I
I
I ended
was,
up taking both playbills and I was like reaching over
I was just like
or on
waving
or
in the
under that
background.
gentleman's arm to try to get
Yeah,
near there. It just I don't know. It made for a very uncomfortable stage door experience. And I understand it was the closing performance. So I know
yeah,
that's why everyone was there. But it just as a theater goer, it just felt like I don't know, really uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable and really sad and like it's not the
yeah. It
way
was
that like
definitely.
I want people to experience stage doors. Also, I remember at Tommy there was also a young girl next to us too, like a younger girl, and she couldn't get through to get signatures as well.
I don't remember
Remember it
that.
was like that blonde girl. We
That
saw
was
there
also
were
in
two
like,
there were two blonde girls. We saw one at Outsiders that was like young and there
mm,
was one at Tommy. It could have been the same girl for all I know.
yeah, yeah.
Um
I don't know. I also was in like fog because I was so stressed out.
yeah, I was getting very overwhelmed. But I guess the big one that I'm sure all our listeners really want to hear us talk about is
Yeah,
Outsiders.
yeah.
So where to
Outsiders
where to
is
begin with
definitely interesting.
Outsiders?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I've seen on TikTok people like recommending that you leave during bows to get a spot, and that really makes me angry.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I feel
feel like
like
it's
the
so disrespectful
well, yeah,
to leave
because
during bows.
especially when almost everyone in the audience is running out, it's like no one really
Yeah,
wants to
I
pay attention.
don't.
And at the Outsiders, the bows are so much fun because the hangs back, they eat their food, and like
Yeah, I'd
it's like a
rather
part of the
experience
experience.
that. Yeah. I saw that on TikTok because people were like, how'd you meet them? How'd you get such a great spot? And they were like, we left during bows. We left like the last song. And I'm like, like, I would never,
I wouldn't leave during the
never.
last song. I mean, bows is one thing, but the actual last song of the show, it's like you just missed a good five,
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Just
And
so that you could get a front spot.
so so we've been to the Outsiders stage door, like we've passed by it a few times, like quite a few times, and we've seen other shows, but we actually stage doored ourselves twice.
Twice. Yeah.
I will, the best way I can compare it, and for those of you who know, you know, is like Penn Station when they announce
Yep.
your train, and it's like the wildebeest stampede from The Lion
Yeah.
King, and everyone's running.
Hmm.
Skylar and I went, I think it was the night we went to Notebook. That show ends about 10 minutes before Outsiders, and we went and we just watched everyone start leaving the show, and the girls ran out like a stampede.
Yeah,
It was
it got my
scary.
heart racing within like 10 seconds. I was like, can we go home? I was like, I'm not, we didn't even see the outsiders. And like, this is like
We were just
psycho.
watching what was going on.
Yeah.
And the things we have witnessed there have been so interesting. We saw on one of the nights where we were just walking by, we saw a girl climb up on one of the
Yeah.
lampposts to try
Yep.
to see over the crowd to see the actors. One night we saw a truck parked out in front and a guy was climbing on top of the truck.
Yeah, some
to
random person's truck.
try to see what was going on. And security there did nothing to stop them.
Yeah, I don't understand the security. Um, the first time we saw it, it wasn't that bad. The first time we stage doored, it
Yeah, the
wasn't
first
too bad. We were off to the side, which I
yeah,
liked better.
we what we've noticed is that people crowd a lot right by the like where you walk out of the theater. But if you
Yeah,
go further down closer to Notebook, they do extend the line
yeah.
down that way. And if you go to the end there, you can get a pretty good spot and a pretty good,
And I don't think
interaction, I
anybody
feel
was,
like.
yeah, no one was really behind us over there.
No, no one was really behind us. And we actually even had some nice people around us who were like, hey, we'll take pictures for you if you want anything. And like, I don't know, it felt very calm
Calm.
and relaxing. You could see further down the line, people were going nuts, like near the
Yeah.
beginning. And like, there was a huge crowd there. But in our area, like, it was very
And like
chill.
we had a lot of Michelle likes to say that I have like diarrhea of the mouth when it comes to things like
Oh, you
that.
do. You have
I
stage door diarrhea.
I just keep talking. But we had a great conversation with Josh. Um,
Yeah,
and
we were talking about like the rubber
Brent
and
too. I told him how much Outsiders meant to my family.
yeah, and Josh, I remember our conversation with Josh. He was so sweet. He was like, somehow we got into talking about the rubber pellets and someone that we all saw leave during intermission. I don't even know
Yeah.
what brought us up, but like we were talking to him for a while. He started telling us about his niece.
You know
Like,
what? Because I said to him, I said we were front row and I put my hands out and made like a what is this?
maybe like a bowl,
Like a
bowl.
bowl for the gravel.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought that was funny because I was like, yeah, we wanted it. Because he said someone was complaining that she was getting it in her face. And I was like, no, we were excited because he said sorry to us. I was like, don't say sorry.
Yeah, and I
Like, we
started
were so
telling him.
excited.
Yeah, and I started telling him how I saw a lady complaining about it at intermission.
Yeah.
She was sitting front row center, and like you could tell
Yeah.
she was like miserable to be there. And we were like,
Yeah.
what a waste of a ticket.
Literally.
But yeah, we had so
And
many great interactions that night.
and I think like one major thing is like if you hear us talking now, this is how we talk to them.
Yeah.
We wanted to relate to them and kind of communicate to them how much it meant to us.
Yeah, like
And
we don't put on, I feel like everyone's trying to impress them and all
yeah,
these
no,
things
I
and
just said whatever came to my head and like came from my heart too.
yeah, and
Like
honestly, I
especially
feel
with
like
Brent, I was like
yeah, you
that
were
really came from deep in. Like that wasn't just something I lied about. Like I
yeah.
really and yeah.
Yeah, like you were telling him about like how much the show meant to you and like you could tell he was touched and getting into stage door etiquette. If
Oh,
someone's having a
yeah.
conversation with one of the
I forgot
actors,
about
you
that.
do not yell over them and try to get the actor's attention. Skylar and Brent were like, they were really in a deep conversation. He was like, she was telling her about her family and how much the outsiders meant to them all. And a girl from further down the line, back,
Yeah.
a little bit before us, yelled like, "Oh, you closed your eyes during our picture. You need to take a new picture." And it completely broke up the conversation. And it was just very rude. It
That
was
I
like,
forgot
I
about
mean, I
that.
understand you want your perfect photo. We all
I
do.
would never do that though. I don't care that
If you
much.
see someone having a conversation, like let them finish, and then, before he moves on to the next person, you could say something.
Yeah, no, that was so rude. I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up. That broke my heart.
It was,
It was very
it
upsetting.
was very, it was very upsetting.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. Who else did we have a conversation with that night? We had a few really good ones.
I think the second time.
The second time we had even better conversations and experiences, but
Yeah.
we also had a worse experience for other reasons.
Yeah, so let's you
So,
want to start with that?
so the second time that Skylar and I went to the Outsider stage door, we actually, in all honesty, did not see Outsiders that night. But we wanted to go to the stage door. We were in the city for another reason, and we had realized that we would really love to get our copies of the Outsiders books signed. So we
Yeah.
decided, let's
Yeah,
go.
I had mine annotated,
Yeah, so we
which is
decided
important. You'll see
we
why that's important.
Yeah, so we decided let's go to the stage door and, try to get the signatures on our books. So we we go, we get a spot, and again, the stampede starts.
Terrifying.
This time we were a little bit further in, like to the middle, like right by the barricades.
Bad idea.
Horrible idea. I literally thought I was going to be pushed over the barricade and like do a flip in the air and fall on my head.
Yeah.
I was being trampled by this like these girls behind me. I was being pushed, I was being shoved. Skylar was literally having a full-on panic attack.
I couldn't speak. I never felt like that. I started sweating. I was like, I really think I'm gonna like pass out.
Yeah,
Which I've never really like experienced it to that full force, but like I looked at Michelle and she was like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Like,
no, I literally said to Skylar, I was like, listen, I was like, if you want to go, we can go. Because
yeah,
we're going to come back and see the show and we'll have our opportunity. And I also was getting very claustrophobic. I get very claustrophobic in general. I felt overwhelmed. I felt anxious. I was getting hot. In New York recently, it's been very humid.
yeah.
And it was just very scary, what was going
Mm,
on. There was a girl behind us who she didn't even know who the actors were. Like she did not know who was who. And she was like in hysterical tears, having like a fit and like
yeah.
saying she's gonna pass out, she's gonna pass out. And her friend was like, calm down, calm down. Like
I
it was
heard her
scary.
say, "Oh no, I think 'cause she pushed into either of us and I turned around." And I was like, I gave like a face because I was like, um, because I was like so done. So I was like,
Mhm.
we're all humans here. Like, why are we pushing each other? And the friend was like, relax, like you need to relax. So at least he said something, but she didn't relax
She didn't
because
relax at
she just
all.
kept pushing. And especially like when Jason came out, it was
Oh,
like
so when Jason came out and when Jason started coming closer to us,
we were
the girl
dead.
The girl actually punched me in the back of the head and she knocked my hair clip out of my
Yeah.
hair and it pulled my hair down because she was so excited to see Jason. And I literally like I mean I was excited to see him too. I think everyone is, but like I literally felt like I was on the verge of tears because it actually hurt.
Yeah.
And I was scared. Like I literally got hit in the head and like she like was ripping it out of my head. And that happened that night. There was just like it was such a bad experience for those reasons. But at the same time, we felt like we had a positive experience because again, we spoke to them like humans. We had our books with us and we felt like we had some really great conversations with the cast again and like
Well, I think the major problem is some people. I'm not saying everybody, so don't take this. Some people are kind of just seeing outsiders because it's hot men, which yeah, that's great. Like there's a bunch of
yeah.
hot men, but I feel like we saw it, like especially me because I of my background with it. I saw it for the love of the story and the love to see
Yeah.
the characters come to life and how they took this book and turned it into a musical. Like yeah, there's hot men, great. But I like wanted to tell the actors that and
Yeah, we
actresses.
wanted to tell them how much the show really meant to us. And
Yeah.
it just in some ways these people are like ruining the experience. And also from an actor's perspective, it's almost dehumanizing, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean, listen, we don't know how the cast feels firsthand. We're not in the
Yeah.
cast. And I would love, if a cast member ever hears this, I would love to interview someone and ask their real
Yeah.
feelings. But for example, one of the nights where we did not stage door, but we happened to be in the area because we saw another show. We saw someone go up to Kevin, I think it's Kasolak is how you pronounce it. If I
Mhm.
say it wrong, I apologize. And she literally was like, who did you play in the show? And he was
Yeah.
like, it was the night he played Paul. He was like, I played Paul. And she was like, oh, great. Can we get a picture? She didn't even like
Like I don't get
realize.
that.
Like it's just like, she was just like, oh, you're an Outsiders. I need a picture with you.
Yeah, it's like losing the whole meaning for it.
Yeah. And we've also, when we were at the Outsider stage door, we literally heard people saying that they were only there to get autographs so that they
I
could
think
sell the
it's so.
playbills.
Yeah.
It's taking
I
advantage of
just
people.
I just remember when I actually had a memory from like 8 years ago pop up from
Hmm.
when I staged door Les Mis for last time and how I took pictures with the cast members, but it was like such a positive experience. Like I never once felt uncomfortable because I appreciated it so much. Like I saw it 5 times before it closed.
Hmm.
And now I feel like people are going, like especially the outsiders, it's either because they're hot or it's a big name. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people are going to stage door just because, oh, it's Jordan Fisher. Not because, oh, I love the way Jordan Fisher took Orpheus. It's like people are losing that.
When
And
when we
that's
when
what
we went
kills me.
when we went to Cabaret the other night, we
Yeah.
we passed by the stage door. We drove by it on the way out, and
Hmm.
literally hundreds of people there just to see Eddie Redmayne because it's Eddie Redmayne, not because he did a fantastic role as the MC.
Yeah. That's like part of the issue I have with the Outsiders stage door because you have people just screaming, I love you, I love you. And it's like,
We saw
what?
okay, we speaking of I love yous, we were walking one night just past Outsiders coincidentally again. And we saw a girl, like we saw Jason, like was not near the stage door at that point. He was like kind of near
He was walking
Stereophonic.
home,
He was
probably.
like
Yeah.
walking home, and you see a girl, maybe she's like 14 something,
Yeah,
and
definitely
she
young.
she was with her parents, and she turns around and she goes randomly, Jason. She goes, Jason, I love you. And he was in the middle of a conversation with someone, and he turns and he's like, I love you too. And
Like
like
almost like he felt like he had to say it.
yeah, and
Not
listen,
that's his
we're not
experience.
him. We can't talk for him, but we both
Yeah.
felt like he was uncomfortable.
I mean, I would
I would
be
have felt uncomfortable if, as a 20 something year old, as a if a 14-year-old was turning around and saying I love you. I mean,
you can
because
say you love the character. I don't know. I have a huge problem with people just throwing out "I love you," and that might be a personal thing for me. But
listen,
I feel like if you say it over and over again, you're losing that for
I would
that
never
person that you
turn.
truly love. I
Well,
don't know.
yeah,
That's me being a hopeless
it's less.
romantic,
No,
maybe.
no, I agree with you. It's less special. I mean, listen, did I love One Direction growing up and
Yeah,
Big Time
Jonas
Rush and all
Brothers.
those groups? Yes. Would I say directly to their face, I love you?
So
No.
seriously, absolutely not.
No. And I think it put them in an uncomfortable situation. And, speaking, we brought up Jason. One of the big things going around all over TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram that the fandom is talking about is that someone followed him home, supposedly. I don't know any
I
details on
I
that.
hope
I
it's not
wish I
true,
did. I hope it's not true. I don't know how far they got,
because that's
but
sick.
it's sick. And at the end of the day, yes, these actors are good looking. Yes, they are on Broadway, but they are people. Would you be
Exactly.
okay if someone followed your brother home? If someone
No.
followed your parents home? It is sickening to
Like they
me.
just want to go home and rest. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah,
they just
exactly.
they did a 2 show day, they're done.
They're
Let
done.
them
They
go
want to go
home.
home. It is sickening to me. If it's true, to me, it's very scary. And I hope it doesn't turn anyone off, based on what we're saying on the, about the stage door and everything going on. I hope it doesn't turn anyone off from listening to our podcast. But like, I feel like Skylar and I both want to be very honest with our feelings on all the situations.
Yeah,
And what
I
is going
think
on is very scary, in my opinion. I was very scared that night that we went with our books to the stage door. I thought like I said, I thought I was going to be trampled. I think it's crazy if someone did follow him home, or
yeah.
there could be
And
situations we don't even know about.
I saw
Yeah.
somebody say that someone grabbed Brody. I don't
Oh, I
know
saw that
grabbed
too.
where, but I really hope that's not true. My main concern is if it becomes a safety concern, stage doors are not going to exist anymore. And that would
Yeah.
break my heart because now you're taking away the the one thing that like you can tell the actors how much you love the show.
And
And that's what it was
appreciate
supposed to
their
be
performance
for.
they put on. Like with grabbing Brody, and I said this to you when you told me about this. I
Yeah.
was like, he's not in One Direction. Like
No.
I'll never forget in high school there was a girl who came into school and she was showing off that she was able to grab Niall's butt when he was walking on the street. She
Like
went and
how would
stalked
you
him in
feel about that?
Manhattan and she
Yeah.
grabbed his ass. Oops, sorry for my language on the podcast. But anyway, she grabbed it and I was like, he's a person. Like I
Like
just
how would you feel if somebody grabbed you?
well, yeah, I mean, me
If you
too.
were out at a bar
Hashtag
and
me
somebody,
too.
well, I've had it happen. I went to a bar and somebody touched my ass.
Hmm.
And when I tell you, it was the most depressing thing ever to feel so violated. So now
How
imagine you just put on two shows. Now somebody grabbed you. How are you gonna react when you get home?
how
Like
would
you're
you feel?
like you're putting these actors, these humans in such uncomfortable situations that they're gonna stop coming out. And
It's
that's not fair for the
disrespectful.
people who want to tell them how much the show meant to them on
Yeah.
a deeper level than just, oh, I loved your performance.
And it's scary to me that there are people who are literally just like just going to the stage door because they know it's going to be worth money. It's scary to me
Yeah.
that there are people.
Or videotaping too. Like there was all those older men videotaping that one
Oh yeah,
time.
they were like actually like listen,
Grandpas.
they were grandpas videotaping the actors, but also kind of videotaping the younger girls. Like
Yeah, I don't know
I
what
don't
they were
know. It's
doing.
it's very creepy to me. And listen, I even to be honest, the things people are wearing to the stage door, like they're I don't know. It's not what it used to be, is a way to put it. Like people like they're I feel like when people are seeing Outsiders now, they're not seeing it to see the show, they're seeing it to meet the cast afterwards.
And that's why they're rushing out
That's why they're
after.
rushing out. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. When I was growing up and I loved Newsies, did I leave the bow once to go get a spot at the stage door? Yes, I did.
Mhm.
But I also, first of all, had seen the show a couple times before that, so I knew what the bows were.
Yeah.
And also, in all honesty, like my seats were like right next to the exit. So it was like I
You
didn't
weren't
get in
disrupting
anyone's ways.
people?
I didn't disrupt anyone. But literally, there are people who are sitting on the farthest end of the theater running out.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's my major issue. I don't think I could ever leave during bows. I don't know if it's just me, but like I would just feel too bad. And I know it's
Yeah.
not like the actors can see me and they're like, "Oh, you're the one who left." But in my head, I'm like, that's what they're probably thinking. I didn't genuinely appreciate it.
That's how I would feel. I mean, listen, like I said before, I wish we could talk to one of the cast members to know like firsthand what they think about it. And I will say, like, when we've met the cast, they are all super friendly and they really try to answer all your questions and have conversations with you. But like, if I was them, I would feel scared and uncomfortable. I mean, like, I don't, the fact that a girl was climbing on a lamppost.
It's
The guy was
weird.
climbing on top of a truck. Oh, what I will say is, the night that we went and we got the book signed, Brody was the last person to come out. And
Mhm.
what I think was the smartest thing that the security did was instead of bringing Brody down the line, he brought the line to Brody. So everyone got
Yeah.
in a real line, and one by one, we went down and walked down to Brody,
And
and
we
we
were one
had
of the
our
last
moments with
people
him.
too,
Yeah, we were one of the last people. We had a very long
because we let the
conversation
people
about the
go. Because
annotated books,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
I
was a
was talking to him
fantastic
for a bit.
conversation. It was a fantastic conversation. Um, and I almost feel like that is a better way to do the outsider stage door in general, because I think it would be less
Yeah,
chaotic and it will be less scary. I mean, literally, there was a girl behind us. I literally thought she was gonna faint. Like
yeah.
it's very scary.
It's definitely strange to me. I think if you treat them like I don't know. I guess this is my demeanor. So like when I'm
Mhm.
talking to them, like this is kind of how I talk to them. Like as if I'm talking to you.
No, exactly. And I feel like they appreciate it, or at least I hope so. I mean, like, I don't know, I just felt like we had very normal conversations with them, and I feel like they, respected the way that we were talking to them. Like we treated them like humans. Like, and when Skylar and I are at a stage door, like we're not like fawning and fanning out. Like it's
We,
actually really funny. We literally were like in between people at the outsider stage door. We were just like talking about our careers.
yeah.
And somehow Skylar got in, she was talking about her teaching, and she was like, well, I'm a teacher, but not for much longer. And like, and
Yeah, because I'm
then
switching careers.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
switching careers. And it was Henry in the cast. Like, he was down the line and he somehow overheard us talking about this. And he comes up to us, he goes, so I don't get it. Are you two teachers or are you not?
Yeah, and then it was so funny because then he asked me what I was doing, and he wanted to know what exactly. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say it
Well, no, it
because,
was funny. It was like,
but
I was like,
he
I'm
just,
not, she what, she is for 2 weeks.
yeah, and he kept asking me questions about my new job, and like I was like, whoa, like, and as he was signing other people's playbills who were screaming at him, and he just
Yeah.
kept coming back.
Yeah,
So
because I
that
think
was
it's
really
because we were
cool.
having a human conversation.
Yeah, and the same thing with Sky. I said my name is Skylar, and then a lot of people call me Sky. And that was cool because when he went back in, he said bye to us.
Yeah, he
Like
remembered
he
the
stopped
conversation.
again. And
Yeah, he said he actually never met anyone else with the like a similar name or nickname and stuff. It was cool.
yeah, because he said a lot of people spell like Skye, but I do
Yeah.
SKY because I'm Skylar. So that was cool. Um,
We
and
just had normal conversations. Like, of course, we were like, "Oh, you're so talented. Like, you're great." Like, everyone says it at stage door, but to be honest, everybody is saying it. Every single person, over and over and over again. Sometimes it's just nice to have a conversation and like, I don't know. If anyone ever sees me and Scott at stage door, I think we're funny. We just sit there laughing at
yeah, we really
ourselves
do.
the whole time, and like, we just don't care what comes out of our mouths. We're just like, we're there to have a good time. But
Yeah,
I don't know. If you want my opinion overall on the whole Outsiders stage door situations going on, I think it's very scary.
yeah.
I
I don't know if I would stage door.
No, I don't feel inclined to stage door again. Would I love to? Like, because I want to show my appreciation for like the cast and the artwork they're doing, of course.
Yeah.
But
If it
I
doesn't
don't know.
calm down,
I'm a
I
little
don't know.
scared. I would be scared to do it again. I don't want to rush and do it again.
Yeah. And you see a lot of them not coming out lately,
Yeah, yeah. Actually, we've noticed it like other nights when we just like are leaving the city and like we're walking to our car and we see them all coming out the little alleyway by Stereophonic. They're not going to the stage door.
which something really funny to me is RJ is usually one of the first ones to come out. Um, and he comes out, he goes the line, and then he's just standing on the street and nobody notices him.
Yeah,
And
not
that's how you know that they don't actually care.
yeah. He literally like I think he came out. I think he did a couple autographs and then
Yeah,
he
he did the
left.
whole line and then he went and stood
I don't
in
even
the
know if he
front.
went to the whole line because this was not a night we were on the line. We were just watching in amazement of how scary this shit was. And
Yeah, we were doing some
we
research.
were doing research, honestly, so we could talk about it on the
Yeah.
podcast. And we see him like he did a couple people. I don't think he had enough. I don't think he did the whole line because he went through it really fast. But
I
then
think he went down at least. He might not have gotten to
maybe
like the back layers, but he definitely went down and then went around and then got to the front of Outsiders and just standing there. And
yeah,
nobody
he was standing
noticed.
there for a while. Nobody went up to him. No one noticed. It was like that. Like it's just like I feel like the people who are going like don't like I said before with Kevin and the people going up to him, they don't really, like even care really about who's in the show and who is who. Half of them.
Yeah.
Like, of course,
And what
we
they did.
know there are huge Outsiders fans out there who do
Yeah.
appreciate the cast and know who's who. We've communicated with a lot of you on social media, and we love you guys, and we appreciate you all reaching out and following and listening to the podcast and stuff. But there's also a big group of people who are doing it because it's trendy
And it's hot men.
and it's hot men and or hot women, whatever your preference is.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, we should be politically correct.
My bad.
And yeah, they're literally like you would not even know if they're standing behind. Like they would not know if they were standing behind them because they don't know who's who.
Yeah, they had no idea.
They don't they don't know who's in the show or not. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me. I literally like we both sat there in just disbelief.
I never thought it would be like that, but it's become a problem. So if we're to wrap it up a bit, what like some solutions of stage door? I think they need heightened security for the
Major,
safety.
majorly. I will say that at Cabaret, like we said before, everyone's really there for Eddie Redmayne, but they have security
Yeah.
up the wazoo. There were police
They
cars
police.
stationed and everything. And I get it, the Outsiders cast, they're not really like necessarily celebrities to that level. They're not Eddie Redmayne, but I do think they need some heightened security. Like to be honest, I think it's wrong that a security guard did not stop that girl from jumping and standing on the lamppost.
Yeah.
She was
Or
like
didn't
so
notice that he was being followed, Jason was being followed home.
yeah.
Like I think that's a
Well,
major
I guess
problem.
the security doesn't go home with them, but
But like I mean, at that point, the person should know that that's wrong, but that's a whole other.
yeah,
But I do think
and
they
also
need heightened security.
if anybody knows the story of what happened there, we would love to hear it and we could discuss it again later on. Please reach out and let us know. But or if you've had any crazy stories, like I said earlier, when you were at Outsiders or any other show, we would love to hear it. Please reach out and let us know. You could DM us. Our DMs are open on all social media platforms.
I
Um,
think though the main thing is you can have some positive experiences, and I'm
yeah,
hoping that with like the more awareness that comes with this and like people realizing their actions, the less scary it'll become.
yeah.
If
I've
everybody
seen
keeps talking about it and kind of,
is
you
aware
know,
of it. I have seen people post on TikTok that they're going to see
yeah,
outsiders soon and they're very scared to stage door. And I
yeah,
understand it, but my biggest advice in terms of outsiders would be to stand, don't, like I said earlier, don't stand near
like
like
stand
the
towards the
doors.
notebook.
Stand towards the notebook. Have patience. Um,
Try to remain as calm as
as you
possible.
can.
It
And
is
in terms,
exciting, like when you see them, it is exciting. But just
yeah.
remember that they're humans too, and you can relate to them on that level, and they'll
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and also like just in general for ways to improve stage doors and like just to show like you can have positive experiences. It comes, like I said, it comes down to treating them like humans. Like last year, a very positive experience we had was when we went to see
Yeah,
Shucked. The day we went to see Shucked, which we couldn't believe, for some reason they did not set up barricades for a stage
yeah.
door. And we were literally just standing outside the theater. Like we weren't really waiting for signatures
Well, we didn't go,
necessarily.
yeah, we didn't go near the people that were like forming.
There were people crowding in a circle around the stage door because there were no barricades and no security to stop them. And we were
Yeah,
towards the side where like the cast members would walk away and we would see these people literally get like huddled by
yeah.
these fans. And then they would walk away. Fans wouldn't even care. They move on to the next person. And they would come up to us, sitting separately. And we had full on, conversations with the cast members. And like who was it? Was Gray Henson who literally said to us, he
Yeah,
was like, I can't believe they don't have like barricades up. Like we were talking like we were best friends. And it
yeah, it
was
was
such a
cool.
nice and like normal conversation. We literally we're telling him, we were like, yeah, we did not feel comfortable standing over there. Like,
We didn't want to stress you guys out. We just
y-
wanted to let you know that we really love the show.
yeah. And it was just like, it was amazing. It was a great positive experience. Like,
Yeah,
if what it comes down to is if you treat them like humans, they will
yeah.
treat you like a human.
Yeah, and you'll have that
It-
connection that you probably want. Like, I'll
yeah.
never forget the conversation I had with Brody. Like, I'll never forget it. And something I'm gonna hold, and I'm not telling anybody because I'm
Hmm.
holding it in for like my own. Like that experience is something I'm gonna treasure forever. It
Yeah,
was a
you guys
really
had a
cool
great
moment.
conversation. I was really happy I was there to
Yeah.
witness it. I don't know. It's very sad what stage doors and theater etiquette, like what it's all becoming. It's heartbreaking. As someone who loves theater, it's very heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I want the next generation of theater goers to have positive experiences.
I think it starts with us though. Like I genuinely think that if everybody can kind of spread this message and you can tell people to refer back to this podcast and be like, well, listen to how you're affecting the people around you. I think a lot of it is, and as coming from a teaching background, is like you kind of teach your students like you're in a group of like 20 other people. Like what you're doing affects not only the person next to you, but the person across the room. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're acting out while I'm trying to teach a lesson, now he doesn't understand the math problem because you're causing an issue.
Yeah,
So it's being aware of how you're not alone in this universe. What you do affects everybody around you, and it takes you out of it. The amount of times we've been out of it, the story because of these situations, and that's not fair because
it's
we're
not
there
fair.
for the experience.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
was a beautiful way to put it and a really great way to end the conversation.
thank you. I appreciate it.
So that's that. Thank you all again for tuning in to the podcast today.
Yeah.
Once again, we would love if you would follow us on social media. We could be reached on Instagram at love letters to Bway with two Y's. One Y wasn't available. I said it on the last podcast and I'll say it again. And on TikTok, you can follow us at Love Letters to B-Way with one Y. And like we said earlier, our DMs are open. We would love to hear from you guys. Any feedback you have, any comments, if you have any questions for us, we will answer them in our next podcast. I think our upcoming podcast, we're probably going to start getting into theater reviews a little bit
Yeah.
for show reviews. And we have some other things in store as well, which I'm not going to spoil.
Hmm.
But yeah, thank you again so much for tuning in. What a way
It's
to
late.
end it. It's
We're
late.
exhausted. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and we're gonna be signing off.